Hello, and thank you for tuning in. You're tuned in to The Encourager, and I want to actually to share. So, first of all, thank you for tuning in. My name's Nathan. You're tuned in to The Encourager. The purpose of the channel is to be an encouragement to us all, and that's done in various ways. Most of the work is done on your own. Let there be no mistake about it, right? Because that's just the way that you're built. You're built to do your work, right? No one's built to do your work other than you. You have the tools to do your work. Okay. We coordinate and we collaborate with others, and we go to meetings and we receive direction from knowledgeable people in that, right? I would need to go to school to learn how to build a house because I don't know how to build a house, right? That's not something I've ever even been a part of, other than maybe like repairing drywall or something, right? So I would need to learn from someone who does that well, okay? And so wherever you are in your life, just know that, first of all, you are your greatest teacher, okay? There's no better professor for you than you, okay? There's no better doctor for you than you, okay? Understand that, okay? Because you know your body. If we're talking about medically speaking, and spiritually, you know your body, and that's completely your responsibility. That's why I've been recently sharing on how you are enough all by yourself. That's been the track that I've been on, or the trail or what have you that I've been on for a little while now. Okay, so you don't need anyone your purpose and what you are called to do is not dependent on anyone else's actions, because that person can be replaced, just like the last person in your life, whoever that happened to be, who you dismissed because you realized they were no longer good for you. They were replaced, or they will be. Okay, so same thing, right? Most High knows what you need when you need it, and that's something that all of us need to keep in mind. Okay, so what I want to do actually is something rather different. So the Bible speaks of spiritual curses and times of famine, spiritual curses, karmic seasons. They are 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, and 10 years. If you go into Scripture, you'll see there are 3-year famine, 7-year famine, 5-year famine, right? So there's specific years that are used for famine, right? So for me, coming into 2024, I know for sure this is the 10th year and the end of this specific famine as the air conditioning kicks on. So I know that for a fact, okay? Because in 2014, I moved my mother she was retiring, and I moved her from Illinois actually from Mississippi. She stopped to visit a sister who was actually in Mississippi at the time. But then I picked her up from Mississippi, and she came to Florida, okay? And she's been there ever since. So that was 10 years ago, this year, okay? So that 10-year stretch is coming to an end, and it makes so much sense as I look back through my journals, and I'm going to be sharing some things with you guys in my journal. So I'm kind of opening up not just with what I share with you personally, but I'm kind of going back in time and sharing with some things, some I don't know, intimate kind of things and things that Most High Yahweh God has shared with me during that time that I now see are facts, or not facts. They were facts then, but they've manifested and they are true today. Much of what I'm going to share or read are dreams. Okay, I dream often. When I say often, most every night, and in most cases, I remember at least part of the dream initially, and then over time, more of it is revealed. Okay, and so I pulled out a journal that I started in 2014. Okay, and I thought I would, just share some things. Share some things in regards to that. I thought something fell. So one of the things, let me actually, so let me see if you can see that. I don't know if you can see that. The lighting might not be good. Give me just 1 second. Let me see. Try to fix the lighting. Let me see. Point the light somewhere else. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Well, I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. So, let's see. How does that work? Yeah, that's good. Okay. All right. So the way that I usually write my journals or do my journals, well, I used to when I was a part of a religious church or a religious organization. All churches are religious. Is on the right-hand side of the page, I would write down notes from the message from whatever time, whether it was a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever, right? And so, and then the left side of the page, I would use for all my dreams, spiritual downloads, events, in my life that have happened, and things of that nature. Let's see. So it's just very interesting to go back through. So here's 9/26/24. Okay. This is my daughter's mother. Okay. It says, Melinda and I will go our separate ways starting today. Alexis, that's our daughter. She's a grown woman, so I'm going to say her name. You don't know her last name. I stated that the other day. Alexis is our reason to communicate with each other from now on. Okay? And it actually says our only reason. Okay? And sure enough, today, we do not speak to each other. Okay? And I wrote that back when we still were, but I knew that communication and that friendship was coming to an end. I knew that. Okay? Never be afraid to release what no longer serves you. Okay? So let me get to some dreams while I'm just sitting here, because I will definitely sit here and yeah, this is a good one. Okay. So this dream on 11/2/14 still has not come to pass, and we shall see if it does. Because quite honestly, as I've posted, okay, I don't need a vagina for my journey, and women, you don't need a penis for your purpose. Okay, I posted that video the other day. If you haven't heard it, I encourage you to go listen to it. It's going to be giving you some courage. It's going to be giving you helping your solar plexus chakra to know that you have all within you that you need. Okay? All right. So this dream, let me turn it this way. Maybe that's better. So this dream, Janice, she was the sperm donor's lady. They were not legally married. They never married. She was the sperm donor's lady in the 80s. He's a polygamist. He's serving 44 to 66 years in a Michigan State prison. I was happy to put him there along with three females in 2014, ironically. Ironically, 2014. Yes, we did. Okay. So, with that, Janice left him in 1989 and took my brother Kevin. I have a brother named Kevin and a father named Kevin, and a sister named Crystal, and they left. Right, she left our house in Naperville, Illinois. She was tired of the polygamy. He wouldn't let go of the women. Okay, and so because he would not let go of the women, she wasn't standing for the nonsense anymore. Okay, and by this, he had not yet had any. No one had yet had any children by him other than her in that house. But that's what he was going towards, and she knew it. Right? She also might have known that he would eventually start messing with the girls as they got older. Maybe that was the reason why she got her daughter out of there. I don't know. I'm glad she did, because he was a sick-ass bastard. So she passed in 2008 from cancer, along with the sperm donor's mother, my grandmother, Odessa. They both passed in 2008. Okay? So here's the dream. We are congregating at a building for service. Okay, we're walking around, gathering outside rather than inside. I look around and see Steve. Back then, I used to call him Apostle Steve. He's the senior minister at the Rock of Central Florida on State Road 46 in Sanford, Florida. I was there for 20 years, and before I became awakened to the nonsense. And so, which I was always moving towards. I was always moving towards the truth. I'm never going to be one that clouds the truth for the sake of the people. I don't care if it's no one in the seats. I will speak as I'm speaking today, with as much fervor, as much passion, as much love, as much seriousness, as much humor, whatever it is that I have, whatever it is that I show, I will do it whether it's 500 people in the seats, 5,000 people in the seats, 5 people in the seats, nobody in the seat. Okay. Ironically, of the videos that I have on YouTube thus far, the singing videos have gotten the most views. It makes sense, because that's I don't know, people want to see what you can do, I guess. That's what social media is. People want to see what you can do, what you got, what you can bring, right? And then the polygamist videos are not, ironically. Okay, I would think that you speaking about polygamy and growing up in a polygamous household and 16 siblings and witchcraft and being a false ass minister, and I would think that would garner a lot of attention. But even with the Living by the Moon series, the zodiac that has by far, most of them have 5 and 6 views. The zodiac sign that has the most view is a Scorpio. I think that's kind of ironic, because Scorpio stands for death. That's what the Scorpio is. It stands for death. And death isn't bad. Death is also rebirth. It's opportunity for that. All right. So Steve is pulling up, and he's in a truck. I do remember that specifically. I remember the dream well. And see and hear him singing. And we're all joining in whatever song that he's singing. Okay? And the song that he is singing is Great is Thy Faithfulness. As we walk around singing, I noticed a few faces from the rock, including that individual who is no longer part of that house. Okay? He left many years ago. I then see, he was there for a short time, actually, considering, but he was an awesome singer. He has a great voice. He's a musical talent. Anthony is. And so I then see Janice. I'm looking at the book, trying to read, and at the same time trying to control the camera or pay attention to it. She's younger, and every time I have a dream, most are young. So if I have a dream about my grandfather, Berlin, he's typically young. He's younger. He's like in his 40s. If I have a dream about my siblings, they are children, like small children typically. It's interesting. I don't know why that is, but it's just interesting. She's younger. Hair is thick and full, so she passed from cancer, so that's significant, right? So she's no longer suffering, you know what I mean? Like that's quite literally what that is. She's walking around as well, and eventually we stop walking but continue singing. She's holding an infant boy. I go to her and say, "Thank you, Janice, for joining me today, for spending time with me." We embrace as I began sobbing deeply. And when I say sobbing deeply, I think I woke up crying from this dream. It was that tangible. She smiles. I haven't seen her since 1990, probably 1991, right before we moved to Florida. We met her, Kevin, and Crystal at a restaurant. I was 16. I had just gotten my license, or I had my permit or something. I remember she was telling me like how proud she was of me and how I had grown up and all of that. That was the last time I've seen her. Okay. Physically. She smiles. I tell her that I love her, and we fall to the ground embracing as I cry. She's still holding the infant. I wake up. Yep, see, I didn't even remember that part. I wake up with tears in my eyes. I remembered that I did, but I didn't remember that I wrote that. I woke up with tears running down my face. Okay? So, I applaud Janice for trying to get Kevin out. She was really trying to rescue him, and he didn't know it. So she might have been his earth angel or his light worker or his stars, that angel sent to him to rescue him, help him get out of that situation before he got too deep. She might have been that individual because they met in 1980 before all of this started. It started around that same time, okay? And so she might have been that individual, but because he did not want that, he did not want monogamy. He did not want that, okay? He wanted Sodom and Gomorrah, like so many people do. Yes, religious people who go to church every single week, sitting in the pews, sitting in the chairs, whatever, singing in the choir, preaching a message, wherever they are. I heard a message the other day. It was hilarious about Low Life Dollar. I call him Low Life Dollar. His name's Creflo Dollar. That dude is such a fucking joke. He's such a fucking clown. Motherfuckers giving him their money. Y'all dumb as hell. Dumb. Just dumb. Yes, you are. You're dumb for making that decision. That is a dumb decision. You are giving your money to a man that is using scripture and the prosperity gospel to manipulate you to blow his fucking pockets up. That's what he's doing. And that's what all of those fucking mega churches are doing. That's what they're doing. He has 2 Rolls Royces. It's okay if you have 2 Rolls Royces. If you're an athlete, MJ, congratulations. You did that, man. You built that, Michael. You did that, whoever. Right? Whoever you are, you earned that. So enjoy that Rolls Royce or whatever, right? But he's begging people. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's no different. He's begging people. He's begging people to give him money. And because he uses scripture as a cloak, they give him the money. That documentary was amazing. 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 So, yeah, amazing. But he didn't, Kevin, sperm donor, he didn't want to go that route either. I mean, he didn't want to straighten out either. Okay? Because whatever lifestyle he had seen in his mind or conjured up, he was sticking to that. And it was just getting worse and worse and worse and worse as the years go on. The treatment of the children, of his kids, got worse and worse and worse to the point to where he was messing with them, right? I was out of the house by this time and probably into my 30s, probably. Because in some cases, I'm 20 years older than a lot of them. That's how large the gap is. I could be their father in a lot of cases. The youngest of us is 14, I think she is. And she's a child, so I'm not going to say her name. But she's, I think, 14. And so, yeah, there's large gaps. Okay. Again, my daughters are twice that age, or almost twice that age. Okay. 2 years shy of being twice the age of 14. So yeah, big gaps. But he didn't want to do right. He didn't want to do good. Okay. I've mentioned oftentimes how I've had the dreams about him, fighting him when I was a child. And I would wake up apologizing because I have unconditional love. And I didn't understand why I was having dreams about fighting the man that I saw as Superman. I couldn't understand that. And so, yeah. Okay. So as far as that dream is concerned, first of all, I have been married once since that dream. That prophecy did not come to pass with that individual. Thank God. Oh my goodness. Woo. There's, yeah, needless to say, because I found out that she was non-supportive, right? Kidney transplant. She didn't even show up. True story. I'm not lying. She knows it. Don't you, Katina? You know it's true. Yeah. So let me take a look at another one. And again, I don't even know if that dream is going to happen, honestly, because I'm not entertaining any love offers at this time. Okay. And so, yeah. Okay. So here's an interesting one. This is a dream about me, the sperm donor. Maybe I shouldn't call him that. I should just call him Kevin. My siblings, myself, and Kevin. This is what this next dream is about. It's pretty funny. Okay. So, nope, that's not going to work. Let me keep it like this. So this dream, okay, it's winter and there's a lot of snow on the ground. All of my siblings appear to be, can I read this through the screen? Like, consistently. Siblings appear to be there, but they're all young. Again, whenever I picture my siblings, they're all young. They're all, yeah, like it says David, who was supposed to be the successor to the throne, to the polygamous ring and occult, right? He was supposed to be the successor, right? Not me, because he he knew who I was. He knew I was born on the 333rd day of the year. He knew I wasn't the one to be taken over in a cult. That's why he did witchcraft against me since I was a kid. Because he knew, yeah, not that one. He's not the one. He wouldn't. No. No, he's too, no. Right? So David looks like he was about 10 years old at that time. All right, and again, this is 2015, and David at this time was probably 20-something. Okay, he was born in 1989. Okay? So Dad starts talking about a snowball fight. Okay? And how I couldn't hit him. I love somebody. Yeah, come on. You ain't no mom. You ain't no Kobe stopper. Sit the fuck down. Watch me swish this on your ass. You ain't no Kobe stopper. Watch me. Okay? As we all bundle up and head outside, I'm telling him how accurate I was with a weapon and grenade in the military. Expert, baby. Expert. 8 years. Expert. Right? Every weapon they put in my hand. AT-4, anything. Expert. And I've never held a weapon outside of the military. Not even to this date. And it's been 20 years. I've never held a weapon, but I was an expert. Outside of the military, I've never held one. And I call them weapons because that's what I was taught to call them. I don't say guns typically. All right. So, so we separate outside, and the first, so we start throwing snowballs, right? And we're, aiming and firing, and my first one that I threw, it hit him in the chest, right? And I wrote down bullseye. I know that's not what I said. I wrote down bullseye. So he said he had enough. He couldn't hit me, right? He starts for the house. I hit him once more as he's walking away with a snowball. David, as he's walking, that's the next line. David is talking to Janet. Now, Janet Lucille Lucas has been a part of this occult since the 80s. She came to the church he had in Bolingbrook, and he broke up her family and stole her from her husband, broke up her kids and all that. Yep, he did that. That's what he would do. All right, that was his method, his modus operandi. That's what that was. Yeah, that was his program. And so she's been with him since the mid 80s. Okay. And still is with him, still is till this day. Even though he's incarcerated, she's still with him, following orders, doing witchcraft. She's literally still with him till this day, along with about 5 other women, okay? Following his orders. And so, so David's talking to Janice through the window. He starts throwing snowballs at me, right? And so David, growing up, David was a punk. And even today, I haven't talked to David in 20 years. He's a punk, right? Well, no, that's not true. I think I talked to him at the courthouse in Detroit during the sentencing. I think. But it was only for a brief moment. And he came over to me as we were getting on the elevator, and he said something about being sorry, or I don't know. So he said something that didn't ring true with me. It was just another manipulating tactic. And so, but when we were growing up, again, I am 16 years older than David. Okay, 16 years older than David. Right. So he's 33 now, or will be. I don't know when his birthday is. But so he was always a little punk. He was the one who would stand in front of the TV, right? Because he thought he was privileged, because that's how he was treated. Again, he was the successor. So because he was the prince, so to speak. Because he was the prince, he got preferential treatment. Okay? And he'd be like, he'd be standing in the way, you can't do it. I'm going to tell him, and I just punch him in the chest. I'd literally just punch him in the chest, and he was probably 5 years old, right? And then, of course, Kevin would be like, don't do that, or Christina would be like, Kevin, don't, I'm going to tell your dad, whatever, right? And Christina is his mother. She's one of the women who's still following Kevin around, or she can't follow him around. He's in a cell, but listening to his orders. So, yeah, David's always been a punk. He really has been, always been a weak ass. And yeah, just hiding under Kevin's mirage. Yes, but anyway, he starts throwing snowballs at me. The first one hits him just where my first one thrown hit Kevin at, and that was in the chest. Okay, and the right part of his chest specifically is what I wrote down. We all head in laughing, talking. Matt jumps on my back. Now, this is my brother who passed in 2021. He's 13 months younger than me. He passed on 8/4/2021. Okay, he jumps on my back, for a piggy ride, and that's a confirmation. That's a burp. It came out of nowhere. For a piggyback ride. I threw him off telling me he weighs more than I do. Janet says he does as a question, right? And I said, yeah, about 30 pounds more, which is interesting, right? And then I wrote something about, she says it must be in his legs, and he had very strong legs. He did. And we didn't spend a lot of time together after I went into the military because I was away for so long, and he was in legal trouble with jail and all sorts of things that he really should not have been. And so outside of me coming home for leave, we really did not spend a lot of time together after I went into the military. But very, very interesting dream. Why I had that dream? I don't know. But it's just comical. It's just comical that they thought that they could beat me in whatever way that is, witchcraft, whatever way that it is. They never hit me in that snowball fight. Their witchcraft only delayed things. It didn't prevent things. Okay. And you need to know this. Okay. So someone can delay things for you, but they can't stop things for you unless you decide to go the way of the dodo bird with your faith and with your solar plexus chakra, meaning your confidence and your belief in yourself and your courage, right? If your solar plexus I'll say it the other way around. If your confidence is low, work on your solar plexus chakra. Get some yellow around you, whether it's flowers. You could wear a yellow shirt. You could wear yellow shorts. You could, get some yellow around you, okay? And so the only way that, and I was wondering where Most High was leading me with this when I pressed record, the only way that you can have your prophetic purpose forfeited, and it is a prophetic purpose because it's told ahead of time, it's foretold from the beginning. He knew this time would be, he knew this day would be, he knew that on 1/26/2024, at whatever time it is now, I don't know whatever time it is, that I would be sharing exactly what I'm saying. Right? And if he didn't know, because we have free will, he certainly has an expectation from the beginning that on this date, at this very time, 34:33, as I look at the timer on the video, he was hoping I would be right here in this place sharing this information with you and revisiting some things and helping me to see how his word is true, which I already know. but But just revisiting some things from the past and seeing how he miraculously worked through me, and how he prophetically showed me these dreams and things that are to come, or at least the possibilities. Because again, free will, okay? Free will is associated with everything. I mentioned earlier when I read that story about Janice and the baby, how I'm not there right now, right? Will I ever get there? I don't know, maybe. I'm not there today. I don't want a wife. I don't want a love relationship. I don't want any of that. I'm fine by myself. And yeah, that's it. Give me my inheritance so I can go live in my paradise. Right? And then, yeah, get resettled and all of that sort of thing. But I'm nowhere near that today. Right? And I can truly say no. If a love offer showed up today, I would say, no, I don't want that. I don't care who it is. Okay? They could be a celebrity. I wouldn't care. I'd be like, no, your timing's off. Okay? You can have a conversation. Hi, how are you? You could, I don't know, exchange numbers or something, but no. No pursuing that. I've been celibate, and I'm not sacrificing that. I'm not giving that up for some hope of something, right? Prematurely. That's not happening. Okay? I love me way too much. I love what I've done, the work I've done on me, how I've climbed up and pulled myself up out of the mud and laced my boots back up. You should look at your own journey that way. No matter where you are in your journey, whatever work I've done whatever work I've done thus far to better myself is not worth the sacrifice of anyone. Say that. Whatever work that I've done to better myself is never worth the sacrifice for someone. Never. Never. Okay? So yeah, again, I wanted to come on, share a couple of things from you guys. Again, 3, 5, 7, 10. These are the different timelines for karmic seasons to end. Okay. I also have a 7-year karmic cycle that's coming to an end. Okay. That 7-year karmic cycle started when I met Roxanne. So that cycle, I believe, ends next year because I met her in 2018. Okay. So, and by the way, if you're tuning in for the first time, thank you. If you don't know who that individual is, they're the fallen or false twin flame. Yeah, they're the false twin flame who, when I met her in 2000, we started dating in 2018 or 19, excuse me. But anyway, that's who she is. Okay. So that is a cycle that's going to be ending next year. Okay. This year I reap the harvest from the work that I've done in the land in Central Florida, and getting my inheritance back from her and her cronies and her sorry ass witchcraft working friends, transvestites, that did stuff against me, her Leo karmic lover, whoever that individual is. Okay. She's a closet bisexual, right? Afraid of her sexuality because she's supposed to be a Christian. Okay. Goes to church every week, or at least she used to. Right? At the Rock of Central Florida, where Stephen Lee Parker is. Yes. She started going there in 2019 after we started seeing each other. I've been there since 2002. I had been there since 2002. All right. So I didn't sacrifice who I was, because at some point I started to see the truth. And ironically, I wanted us to both start meditating, right? She wasn't for it, but I started doing it anyway. And I really do know that that was the beginning of the Great Divide. Because once I started to go internal and Most High started to show me things, the Red Sea split. Okay? And so this is how important it is for you to never be afraid to go internal. Never be afraid to isolate yourself from the noise, because that's what most of it is today. It's just noise. It's just fillers. That's what most of it is today. Okay? It's just fillers. So even Yeshua needed 40 days and 40 nights in the wilderness. And that might not have even been the only time. That's the only time that Bible mentions. But do you know that there's a book of Jesus that the Roman Catholic Church took out of the Bible along with 44 other books? Did you know that? Right? So he might have had multiple 40-day, 40-night, right? Isolation. He needed that. It was necessary. It's necessary. I did isolation for 8 to 9 straight months, going through my spiritual awakening. Yep, I did. And in that time, I got to know my ancestors. I got to know my Egyptian ancestors. So I'm an Egyptian shamanic bloodline. I got to know my birth chart and what all of it means. I got to know about my Lemurian background. I got to know about my spirit animal. I got to know about so many things about me and understanding my journey and how my journey has gone this way and why it's gone this way. Okay? I've always had an inkling. Right? I didn't like religion as a kid, and I often mention this because I think it's funny that at 11 or 12, a child would think this way, but your spirit is mature. You need to understand that. Your spirit is mature. Your spirit is waiting for your man to catch up. Your spirit is waiting for your man to catch up. Okay? So your spirit wakes you up every day. Your flesh don't wake you up every day. Okay? And it doesn't. Your spirit man does that. The breath, the pneuma, wakes you up every day. Your spirit man does not sleep. How do you think you're protected from all the witchcraft when you're sleeping? Spirit man doesn't sleep. Your archangels, they don't sleep. Okay? So I learned that I'm a part of, I'm the father of the Orishas. Okay? I've learned these things, all these things. These things might sound bizarre to you. I've learned these things because I isolated myself from society and I went internal and I was committed. I've not always been committed, but I'm full-fledged committed today. I'm locked in. Took the oath. Ain't no turning back now. Again, even if I have to walk alone. Okay? So, so never be afraid to walk alone as they try to, see? Yeah. Return to sender. Return to sender. Return to sender. Right? So, I said return to sender because they're the throat chakra block, right? So I am going to continue my purpose, and I am going to do this, and I am going to be fervent about it, and I am going to be feverish and fierce and passionate and with unconditional love, but I'm definitely one that speaks, I don't know about loudly, probably, but I speak loudly and I use the big stick. I'm definitely that kind of individual. 44 minutes when I turned my head at the clock, 44:00 when I looked at the video timer. And so never, ever, 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 ever forfeit what you know to be true about yourself. Okay? To appease another. I've done it, and I've done it many times. I will never do it again. No, not even once. I will never do it again. Okay? So any of you thinking you're going to come back to me, right? Especially the women, friends, whoever you are, you think you're going to bring your karmic ass back to me and be accepted back into my inner circle? You are falsely mistaken. are sadly mistaken. You are sadly mistaken, because that shit ain't happening. Okay? I'm not letting you back in. Okay? You can believe that if you want to. You can even try it. But I'm telling you what's going to happen. Right? You're going to get a middle finger. Okay? That's how serious I am about protecting my energy. Right? And today, there's no one in my energy. There's no one. Me and Most High and my angelic entourage. That's it. There's no one else in my inner circle today. Okay? There are people that I have that are friends. They probably even think I'm crazy for saying and whatever that I do. You know what? It's always been there. I was just afraid to be it and to show it. But this truth that I speak with such a, I don't know, some might say with a mallet or a hammer, it's a passion for the truth and justice in this world and spiritually that for centuries, for millennia, has gone uncorrected. It's been 400 years since Most High has been pleased with the church. 400 years. America's been in existence for just over half that time, or at least the U.S. as we know it. Right? They stole the land too, Europeans. Yes, they did. Right? They're not the native. Columbus didn't found this land. Right? Get that shit out of the book. Take that shit out of the history book. Right? Put the native Indians in that motherfucker as the original Americans. Okay? Ooh, thank you, dog, wherever you are, for the bark. And I'm associated with the animals. I talk to them. I speak to them. Okay? I talk to Sadie, and without even opening up my mouth, I can look at her. She could be outside, and I don't even see her. And I could think, come here, mama. And she comes running around the corner. I'm not lying to you. Okay? So anything that I'm talking about is possible for you. Okay? I love checking myself. Okay? Because it keeps me humble. Okay? And it keeps me fair. Okay? And non-biased. Okay? So the struggles, the pains, I've given a child up for adoption. Okay? I had an emotional breakdown weeks, months, maybe later, because of that situation. No one knows about that. No one. Well, now they do. No one. Right? And I might have shared it. It happened when I was over at my friend Marsha's place. I was watching her dog. Well, she was out of town. This is years ago. And I was, I don't know. I don't think I had dealt with it, you know? I was embarrassed, you know? Because I was happy to bless the family, and her and I were, the lady that I was seeing at the time. They were an interracial couple, and they wanted an interracial child. They were not able to bear. She was not. And so we were happy to bless them, you know, and they were a part of a partner church over in Gainesville, Florida. But I don't think I had dealt with it up until that point, And so I'm sitting there. It's just me. I'm in her townhouse or apartment or whatever it was, and babysitting her dog, first sitting her dog, and his name is Max, and she actually named him Gluteus Maximus because that was her kind of humor. And so what was I doing? Oh, I had thought out a chicken. Yes. I had thought out a chicken, and I don't buy whole chickens often. I don't even know where, I don't know, maybe that was something she bought and said it was in the fridge and I could have it. I don't even remember. But for some reason, I was at the sink and I was cleaning off this whole chicken, right? And when I picked this chicken up, it smacked me in the face that this was the child that I don't know what happened. It was just in that moment that the weight of the I don't know what happened. The weight of the chicken felt like I was holding a baby, or it just took me back to that moment in the hospital when we signed over baby Garcia to the attorney, right? We don't know the family. We never met them. That was part of the agreement. Okay. So it was an attorney involved. And I remember how embarrassing that situation was. It was embarrassing for me. I called Steve, the senior minister at The Rock. I told him about it. It was, to me, it was just, but again, a blessing came out of it, at least for them. And that does bring me joy and happiness. And again, that kid is 19 years old or something now. He'll be approaching 20 years old. So it was quite some time ago. But, and I hope him and his family are doing really, really well. But I had a breakdown and I just started sobbing at that sink. And I had to go sit down. I was shaking because I couldn't, it felt like it was an abortion. And I don't know. I'd never shared that with anyone, other than I believe I told her after she got back home. And so I've made some, I definitely made some highly questionable decisions, right? I've gotten a DUI. That was in 2006 when I was frustrated with being out of the military and the way that the civilian life was going. I had told the father, you know what? I can do bad by myself. This is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? I was so frustrated with the civilian world. These sorry, lazy ass MFers that, you know what I mean? Even still today, I hate the civilian sector. I really do, right? Because they're, in most cases, undisciplined. They are lazy, sloppy, fat, and fat by choice. Just unhealthy by choice, spiritually, mentally, right? And there's nothing wrong with fat people, okay? But you're not doing the best to take care of yourself unless you're dealing with some sort of medical condition. Otherwise, and overeating is a medical condition, but that's one that can be stopped, okay? And so I've definitely done my share of dirt this lifetime. I have. Thankfully, in most every situation, Most High turned those things around for my good with the DUI. In 2017, I recommitted myself to him. And 2008, Steve baptized me. I had been baptized as a child, but Steve baptized me again because I wanted that. I wanted a fresh start, new start with my new commitment, my new covenant with Most High. And that happened in 2008. 2007, I recommitted myself and I told Most High, I said, I don't care what happens to me. I don't care what comes my way. I don't care. And I didn't even know about witchcraft or anything like that, right? Other than Kevin doing witchcraft against me at that time, because he had already taken my wife while I was in Germany and my daughter, right, in 2000 or in 1998. So, or 1998. And so, yeah, right. I recommitted myself in 2007 and I said, I don't care what happens. I'm here and I'm staying here. It's me and you, no matter what. And that's what it is today. That's literally what it is today. There is no other physical person on this spiritual journey with me. Nobody. Not my friends. Nobody. They don't understand what I'm doing. They don't know what I'm doing. I gave them my faith. I gave them the channel. I posted something on Facebook when I relocated. I posted something on Facebook explaining why and sharing with them, right, the reason why. Because my 30 or whatever friends, it might be 28 or so now, because I delete people or whatever friends it is now. I think it is under 30 friends now on Facebook. So none of them are where I am spiritually. None of them. And that's not a kick against them. It's not. We're all on our individual journey. I remember I told Marsha back in 2006 or maybe 5 or 4, when I was again, frustrated, right? Disappointed in the way that I went into the military when I was 20. I had the same job for 4 years. So I wasn't aware of corporate America and what all that meant and all the bullshit that, that goes on and all of that. I wasn't aware of all of that. I got out of the military, bleeding OD green. Yeah, I was very disappointed. Very disappointed. And I still am every day. Very disappointed with the processes and systems that man does not correct. They just let them go. They just let them ride. Right? The shit that they just let slide. They don't address it. They just let it go. No accountability. That is a major problem. Major problem in society. No accountability, or the lack of full accountability. Major problem. Okay? So your purpose is not dependent, again, on anyone else. And understand the strength and power to pull yourself up out of the mud. I didn't counsel with anybody going through my dark night of the soul. I didn't seek anybody. I didn't have therapy. I didn't anything. And neither do you. Okay? The only person who can advise me is someone who knows who I am spiritually. And to me, in the flesh, there is no one who knows exactly who I am. No one. And if you do, chime in, leave me a comment. I'd like to talk to you. Right? So we can get to know each other. Because if you know me that well, you're very high vibrational. So I would definitely like to sit down and talk. Right? Right? So Most High and Most High only knows me better than I know myself. No one else. Okay? Not even my ancestors know me as well as I know myself. Okay? Your ancestors don't know you as well as you know yourself. Your parents don't know you as well as you know yourself. They might tell you they know what's best for you, but they don't. Okay? You can listen to their advice, adult son or daughter, all right? Not minor, adult son or daughter, but you don't have to do what they say. Okay? You have free will. Okay? So yes. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. We just clicked on 5757. Thank you so much for tuning in. I don't know who this is going to minister to. I don't know who this is going. I don't know any of that. I just know that after my morning, I had a dance session this morning. Right? And I do that for my sacral chakra. Again, I've talked about this many times. And your confidence, your solar plexus chakra, right? It takes a lot of confidence to get up and dance, even if you're dancing by yourself. It takes a lot of confidence to do that. Okay? So after my dance session this morning, I was feeling to share from this journal. Specifically, I guess just the things that I did, because I'm not feeling to share anything else. Interesting. So I just turned the page. I'm just going to read this real quick and then I'll be going. I've been talking for a long time. It's coming up on an hour. All right. So dream, and this is on 8/22/17. 8/22/17. So this is approximate, just over a month after my kidney transplant. Okay, transplant on 7/7/17. It says, male woman tries to deliver a package to my home addressed to Sylvester Stallone. Sly. What's up, Sly? I let her know he does not live here. She then hands me keys on a ring, and I wake up. So will I be living in a house previously owned by Sylvester Stallone? I don't know. I had that dream on 8/22/17. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name's Nehru. You've been tuning into The Encourager. Be encouraged.